Well. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got ourselves a wonderful Bitcoin, haven't we? So close to hitting that 120K mark, 20K mark. Jesus, God forbid I say that. Question on everyone's minds is, how far will it go? And today's live stream is going to keep it very short and sweet for you all. But we're just going to highlight a couple of levels that you need to be mindful of, because Bitcoin is getting into a very interesting point where everyone's like, God, I feel like I'm going to miss out on something. Now, what's going on is I can see that the stock market's not really doing anything, and it just looks like cryptocurrency is having its day. So what I'm going to do is just quickly break down a few things. It's going to be a very short live, guys, so I'm going to be packing it with as much information as physically possible. So if you are new, welcome to the live stream. My name is Tino. It is Friday, and we know what Fridays can be about. Hopefully, this is going to lead to a wonderful Friday, because everyone is now thinking, hold on a second, Trump and his tariffs. I mean, he's even come out saying that he's going to be a little bit more harsh on the Eurozone. Only this week, everything's been like, yeah, things are looking great with the Euro. So regardless, you can appreciate that gold's going up and dollars going up. Fundamentally, the stock market should be going up. And Bitcoin, well, make sure you're taking something off the table, gang. Let's get with the program. Here we go. So in front of you, stock futures drop on Trump's trade war escalation. The thing is, though, anything that he says about trading, it's not about the tariffs. It's not going to hold its weight. And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, just fix this up here, what I've got going off. The thing is, you can see the stock market is doing some very interesting numbers right now. We've got the Nasdaq holding out inside of this range. It's only managed to just sweep towards this Brinks box low right here, but it's not really gaining any traction just yet. And what I'm finding is, if I go over to cryptocurrency, you can see Nasdaq's holding out at this range. But if we go to Bitcoin, I mean, look at that. That is wonderful right there. But there's a lot of people that are paying the price right now with the expectation that Bitcoin is just going to continue to, it's going to come down at some point. So let's just have a look at the liquidation points on where we are with that, because that's going to help us understand where's the risk, okay? Where are people's expectations of where price is going to end up? Now, in front of you, you can see the short liquidations are the blue and the long liquidations are the pink. Now, the blue, dark blue, effectively shows you where the high margin liquidation points are. So people just keep on piling into shorts on Bitcoin when the narrative is saying it's going to keep going up, okay? However, given that Bitcoin has made a very significant move to the upside, you've got to look at it on the daily time frame. I mean, this is the 4-hour chart. Quickly going over to the daily, you can see that Bitcoin is just in price discovery right now, and there's nothing else for it to go into. So it's just now a game of speculation whether or not it's going to continue higher. Now, a lot of people are trying to buy at this point, but equally people are selling. So if you look at the chart right now, you can see that we've got some offers coming into play, but equally we got some bids down here. So naturally, you're going to want to see Bitcoin pull back. And don't worry, guys, it will pull back ever so slightly, but it's all going to be based on how this candlestick holds out today, because it has managed to clear this range and it now looks like it wants to try and keep on going up. But Bitcoin's going up on excitement. That's the thing. You've got to be very, very cautious with that. Going into news as well, you can see the tensions are starting to show everything that investors are like, hold on a second, man, like, Trump, what are you planning on doing? And that's lifting gold and dollar. Going over into gold right now, you can see where we at with gold. Hold on, there we go. So gold is starting to go up a little bit. And logic says that when gold goes up, fundamentally, the dollar should be going down. But what we've got now is the dollar going up alongside gold. Now, if the dollar's going up, naturally, the stock market should be moving up, okay? But that's not what you're seeing right now, which means that investors are effectively going into the safe haven of gold and the dollar. So you've got that relationship where you're like, hold on a second, how is it possible that you can have gold going up and dollar going up at the same time? Well, it's a number of things as well. You've got to understand that there is a possibility that maybe interest rates are going to get cut. Okay, so gold is naturally going to be going up against that. But at the same time, if investors are doing well with the bonds market, because we had a successful bond market yesterday, naturally that's going to bring the value of the dollar back up again. Now, going over into the dollar itself, let me just quickly pull that up. Where we at? Here we go. Looking at the dollar, you're getting 97.34. That is shocking. It needs to be above 100 to effectively give you the purchasing power that your dollar needs. You need to have at least a strong dollar, so that you don't have to absorb using more dollars to go and buy yourself some stock, okay? Now, with that being said, quickly going over into other assets, you've got Solana. She's doing relatively well. You can see, like, holding out nicely. Hasn't yet taken out this range over here on 167. A key point for Solana for me would be the $200 mark. That's where I would be of the expectation that Solana is getting ready to just go and just break out and come up towards these sub 300 levels. Okay, that's really what we need from Solana. Going into Ethereum as well, you can see Ethereum's done very well. It's broken out of this range right here. So naturally, by the principle of a structure, you've got the rise, the retrace, the continuation to the upside. Alternatively, you've got the cup with handle, okay, which tells you that price is going to consolidate, accumulate, redistribute, continuation to the upside. That's what you're looking for right now with cryptocurrency overall. Now, quickly going back into Bitcoin, let's go to the dominance. You can see the dominance is starting to climb up ever so, well, not climb up, but it's pulling back ever so slightly, rolling over into the Arkham to understand where we are with the actual purchases of the ETF. Here we go. So no real purchases are coming into play. Let me just have a look. Anything else? No. Yeah, so nothing really going off in terms of the ETF. There's no activity. I mean, we have seen some activity with Wisdom Tree, but nothing to get too excited about. Quickly now going over back into the order flow itself. I just want to highlight some levels right here. Here we go. Yeah, we got 8 million. There is a cluster of orders inside of these ranges, but nothing to get too excited about. Okay, because a lot of people are like, should I not? Should I get involved in this? Yes or no? Now, very, very shortly, where we at? Here we go. In 8 minutes time, the market is going to open. Let's just go to the Volatility Index. That is starting to go up. And usually when that goes up, the markets tend to come back down. Now, this could be an opportunity for investors to start hedging themselves in what could be concerns regarding the tariffs. Okay, so that's something that we really need to be paying attention to. When this goes up, you effectively want to start preparing yourself to buy. Okay, because everything is coming down. Now, looking at this, smart money, dumb money, you can see bright as day that we are at the extreme. Let me just refresh this to see if there's actually been a change in this chart itself. Hold on a second. Here we go. Yeah, so 0.29. It's not really changed, but I haven't updated it just yet, if I don't believe. Yep, that's it. So we're at an extreme. So we are expecting the markets to pull back. But what's got me concerned is the fact that Bitcoin is still just outperforming everything. It's going way above and beyond. The Nasdaq has yet to try and claim its all-time high yet again. Just quickly going into oil, you can see oil still consolidating. You've got copper itself pulling back ever so slightly. Natural gas, that's taking a little bit of a burn to the downside, naturally with the tariffs that come into play with regards to the euro, NAS, and natural gas. Euro is one of the biggest consumers of natural gas as such. So you can appreciate that that's going to hurt euro, but equally it's going to increase the cost of gas for the eurozone itself. So that's going to be something very interesting. Quickly going into tech stocks, right? So Nvidia, the world's most valuable stock company, happy days right now, coming in with a gap down at the open. So that's coming in at the 163. Going over to Tesla, see Tesla's not doing too bad. I want to know what Elon's doing with regards to his American party as such. Amazon, still holding out at these highs, but not making any all-time highs. We really want to see all-time highs coming into play when you've got these tech stocks trying to lead the market. Going over into the Nasdaq, and we have a look at the volume that came out yesterday. So yesterday's volume itself did come in above average, which is great news, but price isn't going anywhere. That's the problem. It's not moving. So today realistically should be a day for the Nasdaq to just explode, because volume is coming in above average, which is consistent with accumulation. Now we're just looking out for breakouts. Quickly going into the market watch over here to look at yesterday's action. You can see that we've got 284 stocks up on volume, 137 down, and then you only had one stock breaking out and 11 near a pivot. Again, this is a problem. If you've got stocks at all-time high, or the tech market or the stock market overall is at an all-time high, the problem you've got is if you don't have any stocks that are backing up that breakout, then you've got a bit of a problem. It just looks like it's just a float to the upside. And we can then confirm that when we actually go in and look at how price action has been how price action has been stalling in and around the highs. This is the composite. Remember, not Nasdaq 100. This is the composite. So naturally, it's an index of all the tech stocks that are listed on the Nasdaq. We're not really getting the follow through, but equally, we're still getting volume coming into play. And this is what we need to see to sustain the idea of a move to the upside and what they like to call the bull run. Okay, quickly going back into Bitcoin right now, you can see it's pulling back ever so slightly. And a concept that we need to discuss as well. Well, what's going on here? What is going on? Nasdaq. Oh, okay, we got the mood data coming into play. That's coming in, and we're seeing that we've got quite a bit of interest coming into play on buy side, on the Nasdaq, on the Dow, on the overall Mag 7. So optimism is coming into play with regards to the tech market. But what you got to look out for, guys, is this, okay? For those of you who are trying to work out, should you be buying Bitcoin at these levels? Quite frankly, guys, it's a little bit of a nut job if you are buying Bitcoin at these levels. And if you do end up buying Bitcoin and it moves up a couple of grand, then okay, you've made a bit of cash, but you're buying at what is the all-time high. And just go and ask anyone in the game, would you buy at the highest possible price based on how Bitcoin is priced at? Would you feel comfortable buying at these levels? No, you wouldn't. So naturally, you've got to wait for a retrace. The retrace is your savior. Why? Because if the move is genuine, you're not interested in a couple of grand move in Bitcoin. You're interested in a 10, 15K move in Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's move is consistent with institutional adoption. Happy days. But can you absorb that drawdown? Because if we are on the idea of a bullish run in cryptocurrency, then you can start your DCA when Bitcoin starts to pull back, because when it pulls back and tests a key area, that way you're going to understand if there is weight to the move. Let me give you an example. Hypothetically speaking, imagine if Bitcoin were to pull back to this level right here. Imagine it pulls back to 112. Happy days. You're doing DCA. It hits that point. You pause. You're waiting to see if there is weight in the move. It starts to consolidate, holds above the 5 and 13 EMA. Trend is consistent to the upside. It then starts to break out. You did your good job with your DCA. Wait for the retrace, because the retrace will keep you out of compromising situations. Why? Because equally, the guys who are buying the Bitcoin on the pullback are going to be the ones that want to sell it on the way back up. So when you're buying when it drops, you buy when it drops, because that gives you more information about people's intention to actually pick up Bitcoin on a discount. Okay? Cool. Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I did say I have to keep it short and sweet. Just make sure you're paying yourselves. Be sure to like and subscribe on the way out. And if you want to learn more about the hybrid system, which is what we're talking about all the time, head over to tradersreality.com. All right? Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful weekend. And just make sure you sell XRP. Mad love and respect. I hate that asset. Peace.